Welcome to the Fedora Podcast, Episode 2, Jonah Azizaj talk about the Fedora's Ambassadors Program.
Hello, I'm Edward Lucena from the marketing team of the Fedora project, and welcome back to the Fedora Podcast. Right now we are with Jonah Azizaj, and he will tell us about the Ambassadors Program. Hi, Jonah.
Hello, Edward. Thank you for your invitation.
It's a pleasure for me to have this conversation with you. How much time did you have in the Ambassador Program?
I'm part of the project actually for more than 3 years now, but as an ambassador, I'm for 2 years, I would say. So first I joined the project as a contributor, and after some time I decided to be an ambassador.
Cool. What is an ambassador? Let's explain to the people, what is an ambassador?
So ambassadors are the representatives of Fedora, and they ensure the public they understand what is Fedora, our principles, and the work that we are doing as part of the community. And also they are even responsible to grow the contributor base, and we have more contributors that join our community. Also, act like a bridge between even other FLOSS projects that we have around and the Fedora community.
Yeah, that's a great description. Why it takes too much time to make it from active contributor to ambassador? Well, how that works? How is the process?
Actually, I wouldn't say that it's you need a long period to be an ambassador or not, but mostly it depends when you join the community and when you feel, not only you, the mentor that will guide you, feel it's the right time for you to be an ambassador. But also you need some time when you join the community to see what kind of contributions you can do there, what teams you should join, and what is the team that you feel, more comfortable. When I joined in the beginning, since I was pretty new, mostly I was just hanging around trying to see different IRC meetings. But I also saw that since we didn't have any ambassador in my community in Albania, that's how I started to think even to, become an ambassador and, promote the Fedora in my country. But this depends how familiar you are with the community, how well, you understand the things that are going on, our 4 Fs that are very important. If you know how to organize different events, that Fedora can have a participation there. And you need, even to promote FLOSS open source projects and so on.
Okay.
So it's like a process that you understand when is the right time for you to become an ambassador.
Yeah, it's not necessarily take too much time. Actually,
Yeah, exactly.
in my case, I start as ambassador and then jump into another teams. But I know my process was different than normal because I knew my mentor from before I started with the Fedora community. And when I told her I want to contribute, she know I have skills with event organizing, and also she know that I know the Fedora Linux distribution, how the community was structured because I had a long time friendship with her.
Yeah, actually, especially when you are even part of another team or even, as you mentioned, it's even easier to become an ambassador because you already know how the community works and what you need to do as an ambassador.
Yeah, you say another word that is interesting and I think is a key word to everybody, and the word is mentor. What is a mentor in the ambassador program?
So let's say the mentor is the person who will guide you through the community, who will help you to understand how the community works, why you should join this community, and why it's important to be an ambassador and promote Fedora in your country. So let's say if you will need any help for that, he will be the right person to help you and guide you to become a responsible ambassador.
I forgot to say, Jonah is from Albania. She is part of the EMEA region. What are the regions? Why ambassadors are divided by region?
We have 4 regions, and Fedora ambassadors are divided into these regions. We have Asia, APAC actually, we say EMEA, that is Europe, Middle East, and Africa. We have Latin America and North America. And the reason why we have divided, let's say, ambassadors in 4 regions, because in this way it's better, let's say, to combine the work between, let's say, into different regions, and it's easier, let's say, even for them to attend the meetings, because for each region we have bi-weekly or weekly meetings for ambassadors, and it's way easier when you have different time zones to have some meetings or to organize even some Fedora activity days maybe, so that the ambassadors can gather together. They can, let's say, try to say which events they can attend, so we can have more to grow our contributor base, and people can be part of our community. So to make our work a bit easier, we have divided into 4 big regions. So we can
Yeah,
be like, we can have a better management of the things that we do.
as I see also a really good reason to have regions is because the cultural background. At least in Latam, we share a lot of culture, and it's easier for us to communicate between us that probably could be with someone in Africa or in Asia or even in Europe or North America.
Yeah,
Uh,
actually, I agree with you. It's very important, because sometimes we have even language barrier, I would say. People that are at the same region, or especially, I mean, it depends, because in Europe I would say we have like different kind of languages, but as you mentioned, even because different regions have different culture, or even different countries have different culture, and being part at the same community, it's, let's say, that's why I really enjoy it, because you can get a lot from each other, not only to understand, let's say, open source technologies in general, but even some different culture perspectives or these things. So it's very interesting.
yeah. For example, in the case of Latin, we shared language is supposed to be easy, but right now I want to ask you how important is to at least understand English in the project or for ambassadors.
Especially for ambassadors, I would say that it's really important, because it's the language that we can understand each other, even that we are from different countries, from different regions. Is the only language that can gather us and can make us understand each other. Because being an ambassador, you don't promote Fedora only at your country, that you can do that using your own language, but you will represent Fedora even at other conferences that are abroad. Like, for example, this year we had FOSDEM, that it's one of the biggest conference in Europe. And we had people not only from EMEA, but even from other regions, from North America and from APAC. And the language that everyone was talking there was English. So when a contributor will come at your info booth, let's say, and ask you as an ambassador a question regarding the operating system that you are promoting there, then the only language that you both can understand each other will be English. So that's why it's really important. But even with the other contributors that are part of the community, since all the contributors from different sub-projects that we have, they come from different regions, then the only language that we can understand each other is English. And also, let's say, our websites or wiki pages, the language that we write all the contents is English, so everybody can understand what we are doing and etc. So I would say that English is very, very important in this process.
Yeah, sometimes it gets hard, but finally, for example, you're from Albania, I'm from Venezuela, and we are talking in English. So it's
Yeah,
quite important to
exactly.
have the communication in a language that at least we can understand and talk.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't mean to be, let's say, a perfect English because it's not our primary language. Of course, that we will make mistakes and etc. But at least we will understand each other what we are saying, and it's the way how we will communicate with each other.
Yeah, and really, really far to be perfect in English. My
Yeah,
English
exactly.
is is not easily to understand, but I try. And I think
Agree.
a core value of our community is that people try to work. They don't necessarily make a perfect work, but they try, and the effort is that kind. Another question that normally drive people to ambassadors, because we are in conferences and people reach us and have questions, is how is the relationship between ambassadors and Red Hat?
Actually, a lot of people ask us regarding this question or what is the relation between us. I would say since the Fedora is the operating system that, let's say, has community, a very large community that is contributing to this operating system, but we are sponsored by Red Hat. So Red Hat is the company that can sponsor us. For example, I can relate this with the ambassadors. For example, when we go to different events, the project can, let's say, cover some of our expenses, so we can go there and promote Fedora and the community that we are part of. But we need, let's say, company or people can help us to cover these expenses. In this way, or let's say in this point, we have Red Hat that help us for these things. So mostly let's say the support that Red Hat give us, we have some paid positions at Fedora project, like the Fedora project leader and some other positions. And also they try to help us with different events that we need budget for that.
Yeah,
So that's how I can explain the relation that we have Fedora and Red Hat, because they are really supporting our community to continue the work that all of us are doing.
yeah, Red Hat is the company that drive the money because Fedora as a community and as a project doesn't handle money. The money is
Exactly.
handled by Red Hat, and they have employees that work directly and uniquely for Fedora. And that's the way they can make the bridge between the community and the company.
Yeah, exactly.
Being an international community and having our community divided in four regions, how is the communication between peoples in different regions? I know when you are part of a team that work worldwide, like in my case, the marketing team or developers or any other team that bring people together, but especially in Ambassador, how is the communication between regions?
Since I mentioned that let's say we have things that we do each region, it's very easier for the people that are the same region to know at which state they are. But say how is the communication between all the regions? That's why we had FAMSCO, Federal Ambassador Steering Committee. Say they were kind of bridge to understand and help all the regions and try to help them if they had any problems or they needed something, or kind of bridge communication between these regions. The communication maybe sometimes it was like, let's say we needed a better communication between these regions. We thought not only between ambassadors region, but also with other sub projects that we have, because it's really important to be at the same page and work all together. We will have Mindshare. It's the beginning of this new team that will start soon. They will have even a Fedora Activity Day. And I believe that especially Mindshare and the people that will be ambassador representatives there, they will help a lot with the communication between Fedora ambassadors region and also with other sub projects too. Because it's very difficult sometimes, But as part of FAMSCO, for example, so I could, let's say, try not only to help the regions, but also to see what was going on, maybe to share the experience that I had as part of EMEA, or to get even some experience from the other regions. I tried to attend their meetings. Let's say apart this, it's a bit difficult, the communication between regions. Or another way is when they attend events, like FOSDEM that I mentioned, because it's a very good way so you can talk with another person, another ambassador that is from another region, and see how they are doing all their activities in their region, or how is the situation in their region. It's a nice way to, let's say, exchange some thoughts, feedback, and etc. Or even FLOC, that is the Fedora annual conference. It's a very good way not only meet face to face all the contributors, but also it's the perfect moment that I would say ambassadors from 4 regions can have a meeting all together, and they can talk about the problems, but not only problems, what is going on in their regions, or what are their plans for the next 6 months, and so on. So we have like different kind of ways that we can see what is going on between regions, or how is the communication. But even with Mindshare that we will have now, will be even better, this communication between those different regions.
Yeah, a tip to the community. We use old school internet relay chat to communicate. We have several managed channels in the IRC in freenode.net, and we collaborate with the freenode.net community too. And we have our meetings grabbed with Meetbot. So we use a lot of IRC channels to work, and it's a really good way to work, even if when people say it's old school and I don't want to text chat that don't support emojis or smiley faces or video chat or file sharing. It was really well for us. Another question is, what are your expectations as ambassador from the Mindshare community? We already said Mindshare is a new committee that will try to drive all the teams together to work and communicate better. So what are your expectations?
So since the Mindshare committee, let's say, will represent the outreach leadership in Fedora, I think will be really helpful for all the outreach teams that we have to reach the targets that they have in a more effective way, and will help us to have a standardized communication between all the outreach teams. Because especially the communication, it's the key to have, let's say, can go on and have a more effective community and try to grow even more. The communication is very important. So I think that Mindshare will ensure that all the informations between the teams, not only between outreach teams, but even outreach and the technical teams, if I can call like them, will be very effective with each other. And also will help to motivate the contributors to work in different groups that we have. We'll do also all the work that even FAMSCO was doing, since we don't have any more FAMSCO. And the work that FAMSCO was doing is helping ambassadors with their activities, let's say, helping them to grow activities in their country, and etc. And let's say that that's why it was really important to have a committee for all the outreach teams that we can have. So the collaboration between these teams with each other can be even more effective, and also together with the technical teams that we have.
Yeah, we will have really good expectations with Mindshare. We hope we can work a lot in our fight.
I'm sure that you will do great.
Any thought that you can or want to share with our listeners, our community?
So I can just say that being part of Fedora community is very awesome because the community is very helpful, not only with the people that, let's say, that have some time that they are being part of the community and they know what is going on and they know the community pretty well, but even with the newcomers. To the people that they don't know yet what open source communities can join and etc. I encourage them to try and to get on board and to be part of our community. And the people that they are already part of our community, I can just say that thank you to all the contributors, and they need to keep up the good work that they are doing.
Well, thank you to you too for your hard work.
Thank you.
It was amazing to have you in the podcast. People will see you in 2 more weeks, and thank you for listening. Bye bye.
Thank you for listening to the Fedora Podcast. See you in 2 weeks with more interesting interviews.